there's something about the way that you describe it is quite nonchalant, but there is something within that as a leader, but that you don't react to. Normally there's this kind of reactive pivot, do something, etc. Your approach to it seems to be a lot more level. How do you cultivate that? How does that come about? Like, because I see leaders when like, the proverbial hits the fan, and then there's this kind of like, look at now, like, there's people kind of going straight away, okay, we need to save money, so let's just cut costs. Whereas you're saying, no, there's a disaster here and we need to look after the people over there. We need to, how do you cultivate that? Where do you think that's from?
When you're telling the narrative afterwards, you can tell it like that to some degree, but,
can you tell us what it was like in the moment then? What was it really like? Because you're telling us the story. What was it like when you were there?
Yeah. Well, I've told the story, so now it was like how I'm telling the story. But no, I think probably there is a sense that you got to give yourself a moment, that breathing space, that space between input and reaction, right? And that is something that you can, that is a muscle you can strengthen over time, I think. The processes and the kind of boring stuff, the crisis management plans and all of that, they're really important because you fall back on the basics. They're so important. When you're looking after people, our responsibility, like any other travel company, is to their clients, right? We have to get them safe. That's our responsibility. That's what that's what we have to do. And all of that is taken care of by the plans, by following that. And that just gives you that space. So that's quite important. I guess some of it was formed and some of it in COVID was a matter of that perspective. Because first we were reacting, right? We were just reacting. We're just like, let's get our clients home. We had clients going, no, I'm happy in Sri Lanka. And we were like, no, you are coming home. Like, what do you know? We literally had 2 clients refuse to leave. They were like, this will be blown over in a week. We were like, no, you are coming home. And you'll remember there were people stuck in Asia for months. None of our clients or any of our, the good companies that we work with were doing. We were just reacting and moving and doing what we had to do to get people home. And we'd split our team into 2. So one lot was looking after clients who were going to have to cancel or postpone or whatever. And then we had another lot who were just dedicated to looking after our clients in country and getting them home. And then when that finished and then the adrenaline kind of ran off and, it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? And I think there's a few important things. There was one, I think Matt, who was our marketing manager at the time, his brother was a nurse, and he was telling us stories about what was going on in the hospitals and stuff. And so he said, we're not saving lives here, people. And it became a bit of a mantra. And for us, it was a useful mantra because we were like, look, the customers shouting at you because they're not able to get their holiday, and you're trying to persuade them to postpone as opposed to cancel. Just bear in mind that there are more important things going on right now, and we'll be able to deal with this. And that was a really important mantra, I think, that he introduced. And the other thing that was incredibly important to me personally was the networks that I had in place, and I was lucky enough to have the groups like the forum that I was in at the time with Derek. So we had brainstormed what was going to happen before it actually kicked off. So we literally ahead of the game because I had that, and then I also formed a group with some other travel company MDs basically and founders, and there was about 6 of us, and we just met weekly. So what's going on now? What's happening with the law? What's happening with this? What's happening with that? Insurance company, and that helped us navigate it.